So here's the deal. All my Rumble folks over here, you guys are actually going to be getting the uncut dope here for the better part of a week, all right? Because I did a video yesterday, okay? I think it was the 4 o'clock my time release. I don't know where the rest of you folks live or whoever watch this type of stuff, and I'm appreciative for everybody that does this. So just to say, and it pertained to this axe attacker down at McDonald's. Now, I didn't think there was anything wrong with what I was doing. Hell, like 3/4 of the video was mostly focused on why men should have better emotional control. It ended up getting struck for violence. I'm like, violence? What? There was no blood, there was no gore. The dude swinging the axe later in the video, he wasn't really affected by anything, and the fact of the matter is the only thing that he was violent against was a table, a glass partition. I don't even think I showed that, or when he decided to put a brand new dent in the wall. But then the more I thought about it, okay, because I peeled it and I was like, there's nothing wrong with this, what are you guys doing? But anyways, yeah, I ended up catching a strike for that for whatever stupid reason. So the video's down on there, but yet it's still fully monetized on Rumble. Go fucking figure. But the more I thought about it, the less it really had to do with violence, and I'm not even sure what the entire strike is whatever it violates the community guidelines. The more I thought about it, the more I started to realize that, oh yeah, there was a lot more than just playing that video. Because if you want to see the video, okay, there's hundreds of other videos that are on YouTube specifically talking about that very clip, playing it again ad nauseum. So they're discussing that. It's like, oh, New York, it's all so dangerous. Just continue to just get out of the cities, instead of addressing the root cause that emotional men are dangerous men. And if you want to put yourself in the best possible situation where you aren't going to end up facing a deranged man over some pussy that you may or may not be getting, maybe you should make yourself the best person that's out there. And then, of course, a light bulb went off in my head, and then it's like, oh, that's why they got rid of my video, because I wasn't just talking about these willy-nilly tradcon horseshit fucking things that just the basic bitch that's out there would just go ahead and repeat ad nauseum. No. I'm talking about some things that, you know what, it's not exactly the nicest way to put it, okay? I just don't want to blame the fucking crazy guy for waving around a camping axe, because he was going to be crazy regardless of the time, okay? It realistically had very little to do with the setting or the situation. If he was anything like this, he was going to lash out at one point or another. So that's what I was that was my angle on it. And because I did that, that's why I got hit. My personal opinion on that situation, mostly because it's a 20-minute long video. 5 minutes is dedicated to looking at the video itself. Was it violent? No. Was it graphic? Absolutely not. But it was a label that they can put on there. And YouTube has been gunning for me for like the better part of a week. Okay, I was getting 4 different age restrictions for videos that definitely didn't deserve it. Okay, one we're going to be talking about here, especially with a follow-up, because it's popular on both channels. And my YouTube channel will be fine because that video is still taken off. And there's not a whole lot of development on it right now, which is good. Okay, but the age restrictions, like the weirdest one, 100% the weirdest one was, if you guys have been watching the channel, okay, you know I talked about Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence? Yeah, the actress. People liked her for a hot second. She was the bitch in fucking Hunger Games, okay? That one ended up getting age restricted. I don't know for what, but then it got overturned, and I just kept catching age restrictions, and then they just kept fucking needling and not reviewing any of my stuff for full monetization. So it was just completely getting fucking untenable. So I'm going to be off for a week. Now, between you and me, just over here on Rumble, okay, you guys are going to be getting the same old 3 videos a day. 3 o'clock my time, okay, speaking specifically. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, okay? That shit ain't going to be fucking changing. But if you're going to be watching this and it's going to be in the future, now I'm speaking to everybody else that's out there, Odyssey and YouTube, okay, because if I was to upload this on Odyssey, it would just mirror when I released everything again. So if you're watching this live and in the flesh at the time that I'm recording this, okay, it's about 4 o'clock my time on the 21st of September, okay? This is going to be today's 3rd video. And I'll make the announcement again for the comeback video, but there'll be a couple of other ones in the can for that day, because those ones are still up there. I have the entire all of the week's content already mostly fucking recorded, so I could either can that stuff, exclusively release it out to Rumble, but then I'd still have to make more content for next week. So what I'm going to be doing here, especially on YouTube, this is going to be, it's more or less a test, and I just wanted to see maybe if I just kind of like do the quartering method of just overwhelming everybody. Maybe that might work, but then still put out the newest content for the first 3 videos of the day. Still following the same strategy of 3, 4, and 5 o'clock. But then of everything that I'm doing this week for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I think I should be able to put everything after the strike expires on Tuesday. But that's the entire thing, okay? And then put some more videos on 7, 8, and 9, okay? So for you guys over here on Rumble, everything's going to be fine, okay? But that's the strategy going on to YouTube, so that's what you guys are going to be seeing for the rest of the week here. If you like it, that's cool. I might have to figure out a way of just doing a little bit more short form content, rather, not shorts or anything like that. I'd rather fucking shit in my hands and clap than do fucking shorts. I ain't doing it. I don't care how much you fucking incentivize me, YouTube. Get fucked. I do long-form news commentary, news, sports, intersexual dynamics, whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And more often than not, it's about 15, 20, 30, 3 hours for a given topic, whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And this one's probably going to be closer to 30, so yay, joy, good for me, I suppose. But that's the skinny. All the shit's going to be live this week, and then the 3 videos from each corresponding day are just going to be mirrored later in the day after the 3, because if anybody has fucking notifications turned on, I would be a hypocrite in order to push out any of that stuff. That's another reason why I don't like to do that. Remember, guys, you just to like, comment, and subscribe. I mostly think that that's just totally fucking gay, and I don't like to do that shit, okay? If you guys like the content, you fucking subscribe, and if you don't, you can linger in the background. Or if you don't give a fuck and you think that I'm a brash asshole and you don't want to fuck with the content, then just fucking leave. Nobody's putting this to your fucking face. You can go ahead and click off and fuck off. I don't care. There's a bunch of other less abrasive people that are covering the exact same stuff all over the internet. Don't waste your fucking time with something you don't fucking like, okay? It doesn't hurt my feelings, okay? There's 7.5 billion people on this fucking earth. I'm just happy enough that, just about 1,400 people on YouTube, 700 people on Rumble, and a handful of people on Odyssey give a shit. You guys rock with me, I rock with you, and I give you the goods. So let's actually stop the preamble and let's get into what we want to talk about, because we got 3 stories here. One is going to be, well, of course, I wanted to follow up on the fucking axe swinger, because I don't give a shit. We want to fucking follow this shit all the way fucking through. New York City McDonald's axe attacker says he's not unhinged. Wait, this motherfucker actually got an interview out of somebody? Oh yes, multiple interviews. That's something else that I seen yesterday when I was like, oh, maybe this entire topic is just getting scrubbed. Nope, all the news channels are still out there just putting it on blast, okay? Somebody with a non-regional dialect. We have a man in a McDonald's. He is down there and he is swinging a camping axe. Throw to you, Lauren. It's like the fucking dog shit commentary. Oh yes, it's very, very tragic that's down there. Okay, now we'll go to Scott with the sports report. But I get taken down because I want to talk about some uncomfortable truths when it comes to intersectional dynamics. Or intersexual dynamics, not sectional. That's just super retarded. But yeah, no, this guy's out on the street without bail because Democrats run New York City. Not a big fucking shock, okay? And then you take a look at who's actually a part of the Democratic Party, and then you start to realize some other uncomfortable truths, that maybe the 19th Amendment was a big fucking mistake. All right, so we got our man right here. A 31-year-old man arrested for terrorizing McDonald's patrons with an axe. Yeah, we'll also take a look at all of his charges that he's accumulated, and it's pretty vast, okay? So why did he get released on bail? Oh, because they held up that Family Guy color swatch, and yep, no, actually everything works out fine. You can just go on your way. McDonald's patrons with an axe during a dispute is insisted I'm not unhinged, but rather did what anyone would do after getting into a physical altercation with strangers. They were okay, and another just to touch on this for a second. Okay, YouTube's a part of their violence policy or graphic content, whatever the fuck they want to call it. It involves showing any violence against kids, and I thought for a second it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, maybe that's what violated it. Okay, and that's what went to the lightning quick appeal being turned down. That would make sense. But then I thought about it again. Remember, this happened in the early morning hours, and this dude's drunk, and they're out getting Big Macs. Yeah, there were no youths involved in this at all whatsoever. So again, and still, everything seemed like it was on the up and up. He still, okay, had the ability to go from one side of the counter to the other, pull out something from his backpack instead of, oh, I don't know, maybe going to speak to a police officer or some shit, because it really looked like the altercation was fucking over, okay? You could have just picked up your shit and walked away. But again, hey man, You do you, because you get away with it. I'm not unhinged, Michael Palacios said in the New York Post interview. He got a New York Post interview after he was arrested for an axe-wielding rampage inside of a Manhattan McDonald's over the weekend. And again, saying that a hatchet is an axe, it's like saying that a butter knife is a sword. I understand semantics and shit, okay? Axe-wielding maniac sounds a lot better than a... Can't say that. Actually, don't want to say that, at least in front of the camera, okay? If we ever meet and we're off camera, it'll be a totally different description. But a fellow McDonald's patron with a camping axe. Not exactly as clickbaitable. I'm not psychotic. I just did what anyone would do when being pummeled. Yeah, but that altercation had finished and you had every ability to just leave because those kids, and I'm not going to play that again, okay? It's already on Rumble. You can go watch the fucking video to begin with. But this dude, yeah, he was getting beat about the back of the head. But then once he turned around after he had that look in his eye, like, I am not giving a fuck about this situation at all of those kids, all three of them just decided to back up. It's like, this dude means fucking business. So we better evacuate the situation, and everybody was scared of what this guy was going to do next. Go into his backpack, and then lo and behold, not a gun, but a hatchet. Interesting. So what exactly were you planning to do at 10 to 3 in the morning with a fucking hatchet in your backpack? You know, we got La Grizzly Adams out here. Oh, yeah, anyways, I got to finish this quote because he knows what he should have done, but he's trying to frame it like it's absurd, okay? I'm not psychotic. I just did what anybody would do when being pummeled. What would you do? Take out your phone and call 911? Yes. In that exact situation, okay, after everything had subsided, because again, all of the kids went into the dining area. You could have took your ass and you could have fucking left, okay? Somebody also probably would have facilitated you calling the fucking cops, because again, these are just a bunch of fucking... Let's be fair, a bunch of white kids, they're not going to accost you. They're not going to harass you any further, okay? They already had their chests puffed out. They had 2 girls, 3 guys. So, you know, again, somebody's third wheeling on the situation. They already had their chest pumped out. They were looking good for their 4s and 5s that they had in tow. And you had the every ability to fucking leave the scenario. But whatever. Hey, man. Video of the shirtless Palacios being pummeled by 3 men. He wasn't shirtless. He was wearing a fucking wife beater. Okay. After exchanging words inside the McDonald's, went viral on Saturday in an altercation that resulted in the 31-year-old being charged with criminal mischief, 3 counts of menacing, and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. Okay, so you got 6 counts, and then he got let off without bail. And then you got an interview with the New York Post. This is what happens, okay? This is what criminals get, okay? Should those kids also be charged for assault? Yeah, of course, okay? Should they also just be slapped across the face for white knighting so hard? Absolutely. But Palacios was released without bail after a short stay in jail after being arrested for the attack, thanks to the state's controversial bail reform law that recently took effect, New York Post reported. Yeah. I report on this shit, and I get a longer suspension than that guy did. Fucking wild. Absolutely wild. But another story I'm going to be talking about here very shortly. It should release definitely within the next week. It's already recorded. I'm not entirely sure the day. I might change that, okay? But Shannon Brandt, okay? This was a situation. I go into much more greater detail, okay? It's a specific video about this, and I don't want to throw all of that stuff out without at least coming back to it, because it does piggyback nicely off of the bail reform fuck up that happened in New York City. And it also looks like it's going along the same lines in North Dakota, of all places. Like, this is absolutely wild. Okay, Shannon Brandt is a 41-year-old Democrat. Okay, he's pretty outnumbered, especially in North Dakota. He got into an argument with 18-year-old Cadley, I forget his name. I should remember, because, you know, he is the deceased after all. Cayler, right? I know it was a goofy portmanteau of a couple of different names. So Cayler Ellingson, right? A 41-year-old gets into a political conversation with an 18-year-old. You know, okay, whenever you have that age disparity right there and somebody ends up getting far too emotional for their own britches, you know it's going to be the Democrat doing some rash things, okay? So it was the 41-year-old Dem getting into a political argument with an 18-year-old because he suspected that he was going to be one of those MAGA extremists, MAGA Republicans that Joe Biden was talking about. So he did the only logical thing that he could possibly think of after disengaging with a apparently heated conversation, runs him over and kills him. What the fuck is going on here? You live in North Dakota and you're getting triggered by an 18-year-old in a political debate. Go to literally any other fucking state that's out there, okay? Go live in a big city, you absolute mongoloid. And it looks like, hey man, nothing's holding you back. Shannon Brandt free after admitting he mowed down Republican teen over politics. Again, this would be fucking everywhere. This would be blasted far and wide if you reverse the political affiliations, okay? If a Democrat got run over by one of them goddamn MAGA Republican hillbilly cocksuckers, well, guess what? Shit doesn't fucking happen like that. These MAGA extremists that are out there, sure, continue to point the finger at fucking January 6th. Oh my God, look at how many people died there. Oh, you don't want to have to reconcile with the only person that did get fucking shot that day. How many other instances? Because we can do the flip reverse all fucking day long, okay? The 2020 riots, those were done by what? All of those people wearing those MAGA hats? Don't really think so. How about Steve Scalise getting shot at the congressional baseball game? Oh, don't want to talk about that. By somebody who worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign. How about every single fucking time Maxine Waters just flaps her ancient fucking jaws and calls for incitement to violence? AOC doing the exact same thing. We could run down the list of Democrats that have called for and incited violence. You cannot do that after investigation when it comes to Republicans. The fucking road doesn't go that way. It's a one-way street, and unfortunately, Cayler was walking down the wrong way. North Dakota man who allegedly admitted to fatally striking a teenage pedestrian with his car because the pair had a political argument was released on jail Tuesday after posting $50,000 bond. $50,000 bond for... We'll get to the charges too, because I go into greater detail in my other video on this, okay? Shannon Brandt, 41, spent just days in Stutzman County Jail on criminal charges related to the death of the 18-year-old Cayler Ellingson before he posted $50,000 bond and was released according to county jail records. 10%, okay? If you posted cash, so $5,000, and you ran over an 18-year-old. Good system we have out there. Brandt, listed attorney, could not be reached by phone, did not immediately respond to request by Fox News email inquiry. Brandt, a Glenfield resident, was arrested in the early mornings of Sunday after he told the state's first responder radio that he struck a pedestrian because the pedestrian was threatening him. I wonder how so. Brandt stated that the pedestrian called some people and Brandt was afraid they were coming to get him. So again, this is another one of those situations, okay, because I go into greater detail when it comes, I don't really want to gut out my other video that I do, but he was drunk in the early mornings of Sunday, gets into a political argument, okay, that ends, okay, 15 minutes later, he comes back and fucking plows through the kid, and now he's only charged with vehicular homicide, completely fucking different. That right there is premeditated. That engagement was over. It was fucking done. Now, how is he going to corroborate when this goes to trial, or if anybody's advising him, he should fucking plea out of this, because there is no goddamn way in hell anybody's not gonna see through this paper thin defense of, well, he was threatening me, he was gonna come and kill me. A Republican in North Dakota, they're the fucking majority, and what's your instance of right-wing fucking violence? You don't see it out there. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And just because you live in a very staunch conservative Republican state doesn't mean that you can't have inept prosecutors. That's another thing that you should keep in mind as well, okay? $50,000 bond for premeditated murder, even though he's only been charged with criminal vehicular manslaughter. Unbelievable. First degree murder. He premeditated that shit. And then he acted on it. And it's especially egregious because it's an 18-year-old kid just getting his life started, and you had a political disagreement because you were drunk. Unfucking believable. And like I said, off rip, I want to touch on one. I don't want to touch this at all. The fucking sick situation, okay? A video for me that went, for my channel, it went viral, okay? The 3,200, 3,300 views. I don't know what it's at right now over on YouTube. It's still up for right now. It's another one of the videos that got age restricted, and it's like, for what? I'm just talking about a mentally ill individual, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we tried. Fucking shit's retarded. Now that my bread and butter content is finally starting to get some fucking traction out there, now you want to start fucking around with everything in the back end? Go to hell. Suck some fake titties, YouTube. But no, and then even over here on Rumble right now, I see it's got, you know, a pretty decent viewership on it. So instead of these, because The stupid school board was like, oh, we're expecting some protesters to show up in front of the school. The right wing barely protests, okay? They're out there to support certain causes, okay? Like when Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago, there were a lot of people out there supporting him coming back to his place, but going out there and protesting, it doesn't really happen. And especially because this is up here in Canada, okay? Now, most of the house moms, they'll just go and sit back and be like, I don't really like it, but I also don't want to say what other people can't do. It's a lot of that stuff when it also comes to abortion that's out there. Women might be pro-life, okay? They might be 100% pro-life, but then when they're pressed on their position, it's like, okay, what do you think about Roe v. Wade being overturned? Well, I'm pro-life, but I also don't want to infringe on anything that another woman might do. That type of ideology permeates everything else that they do. Well, I might do one thing, but I don't want to have to infringe that on anybody else. It's another reason why I'm so hard on women in government, because again, you need to have specific, tangible opinions on anything that you might have to rule on. And that especially comes to this sick shit like this, okay? What this dude wants to do in his off time, totally up to him. And the position that I took and the angle that I assessed this at was, this would not be appropriate dress for fucking anybody, okay? If those were real titties, okay, that teacher would be taken aside, told to put on a fucking bra because the big fake nipples that are also protruding, which is absolutely absurd that anybody's allowing this, let alone endorsing it. It boggles the mind. Whatever he, she, it, they, them wants to do on their own fucking time, be my guest. Go have fun with that stuff, okay? But while you're on the taxpayer dollar, being a fucking shop teacher of all goddamn things, dress appropriately. Bicycle shorts, skin tight top, nipples protruding is not appropriate dress for being at school. Barely appropriate dress fucking anywhere. But no, you're just hating on him because he's transgender. Canadian school board is standing behind because you can't stand in front. I think I used that joke before. A trans teacher who sparked protests after turning up to classes with clownish giant prosthetic breasts. I don't see any pictures of these protests other than some online backlash. The blonde high school teacher went viral. Cayler Ellingson is what they're going by now. I think Rebel News found her dead name, whatever that was. I don't really care that much. It's just, this is the situation going on right now, and this is what should be addressed. It really doesn't much matter. It's like, I know you used to go by Kevin. I don't fucking care. But anyways, yes, the blonde high school it's a fucking wig, you idiots. Went viral after being filmed operating a cutoff saw in class, wearing tight black shorts and balloon-like breasts drooping around the waist, in a tight striped top. Could you make that description less sexy? Images were taken by pupils in Oakville at the school in Oakville, about 20 miles outside of Toronto, showed the same teacher in the outfit with huge nipples protruding from the fake bust. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And you're supposed to go there and say, that's so stunning and brave. I'm so glad that you did that. And then wearing a matching fucking disposable mask. And everybody's just not supposed to make mention of this at all whatsoever. It takes it to a point. That's why I don't think that all of this stuff comes from the top, okay? There's not some big conspiracy with everything that goes on out there. Oh, they're just trying to push all this trans stuff on our kids in order to take them away from us. And it's this big nefarious plot in order to divide away the nuclear family. I'm sure there was well enough meaning people within the alphabet community when it first started. And then opportunistic people decided to slither in there, okay? And not everybody who's a part of this big cabal, because again, giving too much credit to that stuff instead of figuring out what you can work on and take responsibility for, that gives somebody else power, and I ain't about that, okay? But if you think that it's some sophisticated effort in order to indoctrinate all the children, this should just go to show you that there are some people that are so stupid and they want to push it so far to the point where everybody's just kind of like, maybe it's just time to roll all this shit back. This is one of these accelerationist points where you can see it for both, okay? You can see it as a point of inflection where it's like, we should probably stop desexualizing people. That shit ain't gonna happen. Or maybe it'll just be another opportunity for good old conservatives, especially in Canada. Oh, we don't want big giant plastic breasts, but we'll be fine calling you they, them, because that's appropriate now. I'm like, fuck off. That's another video that's coming out where I'm super hard on Republicans because they fucking suck at being conservatives. I also talk about the Canadian Conservative Party. Anyways, the Halton District School Board confirmed that the person getting significant attention online was an Oakville High School teacher. It refused to identify the educator, Cayler Ellingson, while warning that the wrong person had been named in online reports. No, hasn't. because the one that I was using from Redux, I think that was the outlet. All the links are in the video provided anyways. They showed an image. It was heavily filtered. Everything looked like it checked out. Some disturbed pupils. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, now you're just infringing on the kids' instruction. And again, they should be, like, this is woodshop, okay? This is a very, very dangerous elective. If you don't have good focus on this type of stuff, you're going to end up losing more than just one of your fake tits. So if you're being distracting and upsetting, okay, there's some bad stuff that can happen. And it's not about you, teacher. You are interchangeable, not just referring to your plumbing. Some disturbed pupils have skipped class held by Oakville instructor. Oh, industrial arts teacher. Shop teacher. Stop trying to fucking flower this shit up. Who began identifying as female last year. I thought it was this year, according to the Toronto Sun. Yeah, no. So I also looked at that article as well. Yes, last year they were a man. Over the summer, they transitioned into the wonderful, stunning figure that you see right there. The kids here most definitely don't think it's normal, but realistically, we can't say anything. The paper quoted one pupil as having tweeted, but I don't think the school can fire the teacher who still identifies as a man. Last year, yeah, there we go. What the fuck? Two different people write this article. The people said, Halton District School Board Chair Margot Shuttleworth, there's the woman, also confirmed that there have already been protests and angry complaints. No, she was cheering those on. Oh, we think that that's going to happen so we can have our own little fireworks situation out there. Ha, 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 ha. She confirmed it. But again, school board chair, okay? The school board office is probably far fucking away from Oakville Trafalgar High School. How the fuck would you know? Post receipts. I do know there have been phone calls made to the school. Is that protests? That haven't been the most pleasant of nature. It hasn't really been updated. We talked about this before. Yeah, told the Toronto Sun. The board was creating a safety plan for the teacher to make sure that she is protected and continue to lead in class amid protests. Well, nobody's showing up to the fucking classes. Don't you think you should be doing something about the situation? At least, if you want to live in this type of fucking delusion that's out there, okay? We've already lost that ground, okay? And there's nothing that we can personally do about this. At least make them adhere to the fucking dress code, for Christ's sakes, because that's not appropriate. Take the jawline and the 5 o'clock shadow out of it, okay? If that was a woman dressed like that and teaching shop class, the fuck, that would be super fucking distracting. And nobody would be missing class, okay? Let's keep it a buck. But for that very reason, that teacher would be asked, well, maybe not even in this climate, because women can do no wrong, right? Would be asked to amend their dress in order to conform a little bit better than that shirt is doing. Hey, it's actually, there's an employment lawyer that's in here making these exact same claims that I am, so it looks like I gotta check out the big brain on Dawn. Employment lawyer Sanira Chaudhry, okay, disagreed with the school's stance, telling the Toronto paper that supporting such unprofessional attire was in fact creating a wedge in gender rights. Yeah, no, exactly. Don't dress like that. That would just be the same if a man, well, this is still a man at the end of the day, was wearing those bicycle shorts and one of his balls popped out, there would be a big fucking problem. Okay, I'm sure the gym teacher probably has to wear shorts that are below the fucking knee to avoid any slippage that's out there. But yes, big protruding nipples, fucking fix that shit right now. It's clownish, Chaudhry insisted of the teacher's image. It seems sexist to me because the exaggerated nature of these breasts with nipples protruding. I think a lot of young women at the school wouldn't just feel uncomfortable, they'd feel mocked. She insisted the school would equally be expected to step in if the teacher came in with natural breasts, nipples protruding, a low-cut top, and no bra. Exactly. That's my point that's out there. But again, given the current situation, the climate that's out there when it comes to women are just perfect creatures and oh my God, we can't tell you anything. You're just the boss, babe. We can't tell you to do nothing. Would they actually step in and amend the situation? Or would you just go and look and say, oh boy, oh, those boys sure are lucky out there. Huh? The teachers didn't look like that back in my day. More tradcon fucking nonsense. Schools are expected to step in and say, we need you as a teacher to come into school and dress professionally. Yeah, exactly. The Toronto Sun's op-ed editor Anthony Fury also insisted that parents and students are right to be concerned. The situation, it just isn't normal and shouldn't be allowed to continue. This has nothing to do with something like transgender rights, Fury wrote, saying it goes beyond an incident of wokeness or political correctness. No, it addresses those things directly. Don't let it fucking slip, okay? And I can already see the the groundwork being laid here. See, this clearly goes too far, okay? If we're going to have tranny high school teachers that are out there, they should be respected with their big old beards, their fucking big old plastic dicks hanging out below their crotch line. They want to walk around with a zucchini strapped to their leg with a dick print that's out there. Just make sure that it's covered up, okay? The situation is so fucking wild, but I hate to pull a Helen Lovejoy, but won't somebody please think of the kids? Because they're the ones that are posting this shit to the internet going, check out this high school teacher, this shit is fucking wild. If you needed another instance to just laugh at Canada, well, there you go. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.